Hey, Mark here. So, Norbert and I originally intended this episode just to be one episode, and we were going to pack in all of the Marvel cinematic releases that were put on Disney Plus and theaters around the world, but the episode just got way too long, so we decided to split this up into two parts. This part you're about to listen to covers all the MCU television shows, so it covers WandaVision, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and Hawkeye. And then the next episode is going to cover Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man No Way Home, and hopefully talk a little bit about Venom. So just know we're going to do a two-parter here. The movie section will be released later in January, but this is what we have now. A lot of great discussions, a lot of good talks about these television shows or streaming shows, whatever you call them nowadays. But I hope you enjoy. And yeah, if you like this episode, make sure to look out for the episode coming out in January. All right, thank you. Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that can do this all day. It's Norbert Morvan.
It was Hoffmeyer all along. Boom, bam, 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 yeah. Let's go.
Hey, so before we get into this, I just want to hear a little bit of your take of Tommy Lee Jones and Captain America, the First Avenger.
There. See what we're going to do right now? We're going to get to Steve Rogers, and Steve Rogers is going to be the greatest man of all. You look at that guy, looks like a stiff breeze and blow him over, but once we give him that Super Soldier Superman, that guy's going to take off.
All right, now give me Keith David as he hasn't been in one, but as Loki. And no, as Odin.
Keith David is Odin. Let's see. All right, everyone, listen. No, I can't even do it. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. That would have been awesome. Keith David is Odin.
So, if you haven't heard this, Norbert unleashed a beautiful Tommy Lee Jones impersonation during our Armageddon episode, where somehow we got on Volcano, and he's been doing his Keith David. You've been doing your Keith David impersonation since the first episode we recorded, probably back in the 100s, which was They Live.
Oh yeah.
So I figured I'd put you on the spot there and get some credit for that. Tommy Lee Jones was perfect, though.
You know, usually when Kobe lobs one up to Shaq, he finishes, but, you know, every once in a while there's a boing. Oh, my God, what just happened? I'm sorry.
So, Norbert, I got some calls. People actually called me and told me how much they loved the Heat episode that you're in, and they loved your Pacino accent. So,
thank you.
Give me Pacino as Korg from Thor Ragnarok.
Pacino is Korg. Korg was the rock guy, right?
Yeah.
He's playing video games. He's just sitting there playing video. You know, I want a pizza, you know, and I want to play some video games with you, Thor, because you're a good guy. Thor, what are you doing with the controller, Thor? Get over here.
That was a good pull, man. That was great.
Korg.
One could say you rocked
right
it.
Out the rectum. Oh, nice. Thank you. Hoffmeyer's here all night.
So I was looking at the 2021 Marvel Cinematic Universe, aka MCU, that was kicked off in 2008 with Iron Man. But I was looking at their lineup in 2021, and just the sheer amount of content this year from the MCU has been both spectacular and welcome. I don't feel burnt out. I know there's a lot of people out there that say they suffer from, or not, they don't say, but they are suffering from superhero fatigue. But I just look at these movies, these shows as quality content that I'm going to enjoy. Like, I'm not hating on them. Like, none of them made my top 10 of 2021, but I don't think there's one of these properties I didn't watch and enjoy. So it was a lot of content, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I would love to do a Hawkeye episode. I would love to do a Black Widow episode, but that's like 8 episodes, and I just don't got time. I don't have time for that. Maybe I can cover them as the years go by. But I just thought, hey, I'm going to bring in Norbert. We're going to talk about WandaVision, Loki, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Eternals, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, yes, there is What If, but I don't know. Like, what if it's cool, but I didn't feel the need to include that in here. And also, Venom kind of has a tie. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, kind of. Kind of has a tie. Oh, wait, no, wait. What would Pacino's? How would Pacino say that? God, you gotta. I can't do it. It's like that Ronin episode where you're trying to get me to do a Northern Irish accent.
It's hard, man. There are so many of these accents, and you're just, these movies come at you like life, they come at you fast,
I
brother.
did a really good John Barenthal from King Richard during our random awards. I just want everyone to know that. So
that was a solid episode.
If you are listening, you know that I can do a good John Barenthal. Hey, Richard. Hey, Richard, man, we got to get these kids out there. Work on their forehands.
Richard?
Look at that backhand, Richard. Look at that backhand. Oh, get him on the tour, Richard. I'll sign him up with Reebok. $3 million, Richard.
I know. Nice. That is nice. Well, this is the applause.
That's the only good accent. Have you ever heard me do a good accent before? Or like an impersonation?
Your strength is in just relentless positivity, my friend. And that's what it is. We only give good notes here on Movies, Films, and Flicks. Only good notes.
Well, thank you. Let's go play some games.
But this is great, though. I do love it.
So I just thought to myself, hey, let's go on. Let's talk about our favorite moments, our 2 favorite moments from each TV show or streaming show or movie. That way we can kind of cover each one. We can talk about which ones were our favorites and just have a good time talking about a load of MCU content from the year. And I just think, it was a cool year. Like, I what's interesting is I think WandaVision, Norbert, is that, and so I put my top 5 of 2021 out, and it was WandaVision, Only Murders in the Building, Barb and Star, Malignant,
you love that.
and The Expanse. Like, those are my 5 things I've watched all year. Favorite things I've watched all year. I felt like WandaVision, the black and white in the first 3 episodes, the kind of slow pace. Right. I was on board with it. There's gonna be spoilers here, but like, I remember watching the first episode and going, Wanda's in a world of hurt, and she's just recreating this to be back with Vision. And so I dug it, man. I dug like her hiding it from him and like her playing this thing. It like made total sense to me. It's like this person having a breakdown. She lost her brother. She lost Vision. Now she's reverted back to tapes she used to watch back in the day. Like, it's a really cool story, and I thought it was pretty daring. I loved, Agent Wu came back, Darcy came back. Like, it's just a fun all around. Like, Catherine Hahn is in there. I just think it's. I thought it was a really cool show, and I really dug it. And so, I guess you want to start with WandaVision, since I just talked about it for a long time. And like, I have a question, Norbert, before we get into it. What's your favorite property? All these MCU properties. What's your favorite movie and what's your favorite TV show that came out?
The best thing so far, Spider-Man, No Way Home. Good God. I saw that in the theater and just nerdgasm everywhere. Unbelievable. That movie's unbelievable. I would watch that movie every day and twice on Sundays.
Ooh.
That was the best. That was the best one. And then in terms of TV, the MCU TV stuff, I have been digging it. 100%. I have a guilty pleasure soft spot for the Defenders from the Netflix ones because that was so great.
Oh, if we're talking that, I'm saying Daredevil. I'm just thinking from this year.
Oh, yeah. Well, so then from this year we got WandaVision, we got Hawkeye, we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Loki.
And Loki, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so from this year, I'm going to say, I'm going to go Loki.
Ooh.
I really like Loki, man. Loki came in 6 episodes, in and out. Boom. Nice special effects. And Loki, he has a reverse heel turn,
Mm-hmm.
He comes in, I am Loki Laufsen, and I should be the king, and you need to be ruled. He was doing his spiel from the movies. And then they just say, okay, let's go to the videotape, Loki. And Loki looks at himself. He's like, I'm kind of a jerk. And it feels earned. It feels really earned. So whereas you will get these properties where they just try to make a bad guy into a good guy, like the aforementioned Venom, for example. And in the comic books, once they realized how popular Venom was, Marvel just realized, hey, we got to turn this guy into a good guy real quick. Okay? He's a psycho. He's just trying to kill Spider-Man. And then we're just going to turn him into a good guy. We're going to call him Lethal Protector. There was actually a comic book called Venom, Lethal Protector, where he goes to San Francisco and just starts eating bad guys. And you're like, yeah, it's the 90s. Yeah, edgy. extreme, So this is what they did with Loki, except it feels much more earned.
And there's
because
an
Venom
alligator,
killed.
and there's Jonathan Majors.
Listen, the talking alligator. I wanted him to talk. I wanted that alligator to talk. Richard E. Grant, comes out of nowhere.
Classic Loki.
Comes out of nowhere. Yeah, and then, well, I don't want to spoil my awards, but there's so much.
Right. All right, so want to start with WandaVision then?
Let's go with Loki. We're handing out our awards, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so we'll go all the way back to the beginning. We'll start with WandaVision. The creator's Jack Schaefer. Stars Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Catherine Hahn, Tiana Paris, Monica Rambeau. Like, I loved her creation. I mean, you have a superhero creation story that's part of a side part in this that's going to become big later. Like, they fit in a lot of cool stuff in here. So my first award, I just got to do it. My first favorite moment from WandaVision is when Jimmy Woo pulls off the close-up magic card trick in the opening moments of it. Because remember in Ant-Man the Wasp how he was just, how'd you do that? I remember him just looking at Scott Lang and just, how'd you do that? Actually, everyone in there loved his close-up magic. But
that's right.
In this one, he just busts out a card and he says FBI.
That's right.
Like, oh man, like Agent James E. Woo, boom, card trick. It's beautiful, and it's such a good callback because
that's right.
I love Ant-Man the Wasp, and I love Agent Woo. Like, I think that Randall Park is just a delight in that movie. So to see him actually, you've learned that he practiced the card trick, Norbert, and he nailed it.
That's right.
It's beautiful.
This is the beauty of Marvel Comics that people are now getting to see play out on screen. There are so many times I've been reading comics since the 80s. I'm that old. I'm an old man. And one of the best things when you're reading Spider-Man, you're reading a Fantastic Four, oh, snap, the Avengers are in the next issue. That was always awesome. And seeing how characters bounce off each other, and the fact that this is happening in New York. So Spidey's swinging around the city and he's like, man, last week the Avengers fought so-and-so. And then they put the little note in the bottom of the panel, see Avengers 227. And then you go back and you say, oh my God, it's all connected. This is what people are now getting from the MCU. And you hit on that perfectly with that Randall Park, Agent Woo moment. Like, oh man, I remember that. That's how comic books are supposed to make you feel. That you have been paying attention. You get rewarded for paying attention to comics. And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he busts out that card. He just busts out that card, and it just gave me sheer joy. So that's my first favorite moment. What's your favorite moment? One of your favorite moments from WandaVision?
I'll tell you right now, man. Every time I watch WandaVision, I rewind the moment. And so my first award is for the song that would have been sampled by Busta Rhymes and turned into a sick late 90s jam. Agatha all alone. When that moment hits and Catherine Hahn is just like hamming it up at the screen and that beat comes on and you got a good sound system that you're just watching this through. Oh man, I love that. It gives me chills. It's such a great beat, dude.
Hey Norbert, and who's been messing up everything?
It was Agatha all alone.
Who's been pulling every evil string?
Agatha, all alone. Listen, man, it's so great that they tried to make Catherine Hahn as the bad guy, but if you watch the show, it's not actually Catherine Hahn, Agatha who's the bad guy. These 9 episodes, Wanda kind of enslaved a town of thousands of people.
Yep, and then
I know she felt bad.
Yeah, and then she walked away, kind of like, whoops.
And then she just left. Like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean to, take over your minds and starve your children.
So, thank you for your time. You are living in sheer terror. I was working some things out.
Right.
I was selfish. But it's a good thing this other woman came in.
Yes, that's right. It's a good thing that Agatha's here to distract you from the fact that when you dream, you're actually experiencing my nightmares. I'm sorry about that. I mean that. Oof.
And what's crazy? Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, who won an Oscar for Frozen, wrote that song.
Yeah,
like that's their beat.
Oh, it's so good. They take the lead motif, WandaVision, and then they just what we used to call in hip hop production, they just freak it. Agatha all alone.
That killed Sparky too.
Oh man.
And then
Yes.
Yeah. Oh gosh. When she did that in episode 7, and then she turns around and Agatha's on the back of her chair, and she just kind of does the rolling symbol. Like it's just, it's
brilliant.
Just, and then they did the whole Modern Family type episode. It's just,
yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Khan is so good in that.